The westbound 401 collector ramp is now partially blocked, all because of a stalled
highway jams, road closures, not enough parking. The complaints are familiar.
It takes about an hour and a half to get back to Young Finch. Normally it takes 15 to 20.
Expensive parking, that is a big factor, especially at York.
Congestion and TDC subways and including the buses. They get stopped whenever they want and they get broken down easily.
One of the common issues is that there's too many cars on the road. 680 radio traffic expert Jordan Kerr witnesses this every day.
680 News Time, 6:51.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Jordan Kerr.
We have way too many cars on the road. The infrastructure is just not ready for this amount of traffic. You see something like the Allen Expressway or even the DVP and the Gardner Expressway that started being built in the 50s and 60s or sometimes earlier before. And obviously Toronto was not the huge international city. It was just kind of getting started. Now it's a huge booming. It's the center of business in the country.
But the congestion isn't just due to commuters coming in and out of the city.
If you've been on the 401, you see tons of tractor trailers because they're shipping stuff from the States, coming out of Detroit, out of Windsor, and shipping it all the way to Quebec. And they're going through Toronto at all hours of the day.
Roads in Toronto were not built to accommodate the city's growth. Urban planning professor Douglas Young explains why.
When the region had fewer people, and it wasn't anticipated that everyone would own a car, it wasn't anticipated people would ride bicycles.
This month marks the 1-year launch of the King Streetcar pilot program, which was implemented to reduce the amount of traffic on King Street.
I think it's worked well. There are studies that have shown it has eased congestion in that area for King Street, an extremely busy commuter street, and has really cut down on that commuting time for transit riders.
2 business owners claim the King Street pilot ran them out of business. Restaurant owner Al Carbone says his business has dropped significantly since the pilot launched last November.
Everyone between Bathurst and Jarvis has seen a big drop in business, anywhere from 20, 30, 40, 50%.
Sometimes we have to, as a society, prioritize one group's mobility over another group's. And I think that streetcar being so heavily used, I think it was a reasonable thing to say, we're going to prioritize the movement of the streetcar over private cars.
The 3 major transit expansions are the Relief Line, the LRT, and the Yonge Subway extension. But are these additions necessary if there's more drivers on the road than ever before? The number of drivers in Canada has risen 25% over the past decade, and Ontario counts for nearly 1/3 of that.
The transit system just needs to be expanded. Less people would drive and clog up the roads if we had a better transit system. And it's something I don't think we're going to see the benefits of a lot of these transit expansions until a good 15, 20 years from now.
The transit riders could tell you it's not faster, it's not more reliable, and there's always overcrowding. The whole subway system needs to be cleaned up.
If the plan is to reduce congestion, why isn't there more incentive to get people on public transit?
Look at what our premier did. He campaigned on reducing the price of gas 10 cents a liter. He didn't campaign on reducing the price of taking transit across Ontario, right? So he has also made a very, very, very clear choice who to cater to.
But what mayoral candidate can implement a plan to improve the city's congestion, and what is the most efficient way to do so?
While Mayor John Tory is pushing for reconstruction of the Gardner, Keesmaat would rather see that money spent on getting people out of their cars.
The Gardner Expressway issue, where he is in favor of rebuilding, tearing it down, rebuilding it at a cost of at least $1 billion. Jennifer Keesmaat says that's a foolish decision. She understands that it's a waste of money. She, I think, is more committed than he is to Vision Zero, trying to reduce accidents and increasing bicycle networks than he is.
With the mayoral election quickly approaching, the pressure lies on both candidates to get these transit expansions underway.
All these mayoral candidates need to be on the same page for expansion, because if we keep flip-flopping between one thing or another, smart track or subways or LRT, nothing's going to get done. That's the reality. They got to be on the same page in transit.